Hey everyone, I'm Marvin. You know, a leader who is resistant to change, who is okay with being stagnant, well, that kind of leader, that's not a very effective leader. And they also don't do a very good job of growing the people around them because of their stagnation. And because we say here that teachers are leaders, that applies to you as well. Teachers, every teacher must be willing to take a risk and try different things because they're the students, they take their lead from you. As a teacher, leader, you are the architect of your environment. And your students need that practice of stepping outside of their comfort zone and trying different things because employers in the 21st century, they're looking for workers who are not afraid to take a risk and try something new. Now, sadly, when you're doing something different, you're trying something new, you're stepping out of the comfort zone, there will be some negativity at times. You know, surprisingly, this negativity may come from teachers, and this negativity may also come from administration. So what I want to do in this lesson is I want to equip you with 3 tips to help you deal with that negativity. Let's begin. Number 1 is you need to remind yourself of the value of your work. Your work is so very important. And I think the most important thing that you'll need in terms of reminding you of that value is you look at the vision statement of your building. Every school has a vision statement, and if you don't know it off the top of your head, that's okay. That's okay, but you should get to know it. And I encourage you to put that vision statement up in your classroom. Put that vision statement in your planner. If you have a paper planner, put it in there. Continually put yourself in remembrance of the very important work that you're doing. And I often remind students that words on a page will remain words on a page unless they change the way you think. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that that vision statement is in front of you and you're thinking about it constantly so it changes the way you think. So once you get used to having that vision statement in front of you, it changes your mindset. And so, you know, taking a risk, it's elementary because you've been looking at this vision statement. This vision statement compels you to take this risk and try something new for the sake of your students. I'm reminded of a quote by a great thinker. It goes like this: "The vision must be followed by the venture. It is not enough to stare up the steps. We must step up the stairs." And so I encourage you to let that vision statement be your guiding light in times of despair, in times of trouble, when you're facing that negativity. Let that vision statement be your guide. Number 2, this applies especially when you're doing something different, trying something new, is you have to plan well. Now, hopefully you're already making it a habit that you're already improving your lesson planning. Your lesson planning has to be excellent, especially during these moments. And this has happened to me many times throughout my career where I wanted to try something different. My administrators, they were kind of iffy about it. They weren't sure. They didn't fully agree with me. But when I showed them my plan and I included some data, yes, administrators love data. When I included data in my plan to justify what I wanted to do, it was hard for the administrator to tell me no because I had put together a great plan that was backed by data. And so in that way, negativity is actually a good thing because it helps keep you on your toes. I always talk about how when it comes to your lesson planning, you always want to improve. You always want to get better with your lesson planning because when you're really good at lesson planning, when you put great plans together, it helps you to anticipate things that may trip up the students, areas where they may stumble, so you can immediately be there to offer the support because you anticipated the fact that the students may struggle in that area. And the third thing to help you deal with that negativity is when you try something new, share the results. People, they really want to know, including people who were negative about the idea. They really do want to know what happened. And there can be that defense mechanism within, that tendency to want to hide the results because the results may be a little embarrassing. I get that. That's human. But if you're going to learn anything from it, if you're going to neutralize that fear that comes sometimes with trying something new, you've got to share the results. Don't be scared. I recommend that every teacher read this book by John Maxwell. It's called Failing Forward, Turning Mistakes into Stepping Stones for Success. And bottom line, from his book, we learned that even through failure, we can learn something. The moments of failure, they can be useful if we choose to learn. And I think one of the other major takeaways from this book is that he talks about how success has got to be seen as temporary. It's temporary. And when you view it that way as temporary, then that kind of neutralizes some of the sting that comes from failure, and you see it as just a moment, and it's something that you can learn from. And then eventually you get to the point where you realize it's okay. I can share these results because this is what I learned from that failure. And I think these are some of the adjustments that I'll try next time. So in summary, these 3 tips for overcoming and dealing with negativity. Number 1 is you have to remind yourself of the value of your work, and you can find that in the vision statement. Number 2, you have to make sure you're planning very well. Planning has to be on point. And then number 3, share the results. Good or bad, share those results. Well, I thank you so much for watching. And until we meet again, always remember that teachers are leaders.